Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. The U.S. military shot down an Iranian drone after it approached the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln in the Arabian Sea, officials said. The incident adds tension as Washington and Tehran try to keep nuclear talks on track. Republican-linked influencers and some party figures are amplifying unproven fraud claims tied to California social programs. State officials say the allegations are unsupported as federal scrutiny of spending and eligibility increases. Republicans are reassessing their outreach to Hispanic voters in Texas after recent special election results showed weakness in key precincts. Party strategists say they're adjusting messaging ahead of 2026 races. Iran is pressing to change the venue and format of upcoming nuclear negotiations with the U.S., according to officials familiar with the talks. The demands come after close encounters at sea that raised fears of escalation. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard said President Trump asked her to attend the FBI search of a Fulton County, Georgia, election facility. She told lawmakers she did not direct the raid and was there briefly. The House voted to end the partial government shutdown, with more than 20 Democrats joining Republicans to pass the funding package. The bill keeps most agencies funded through September and extends DHS funding for 2 weeks. President Trump said on Tuesday that states act as agents of the federal government in running elections, backing his push to nationalize voting in some places. Democrats and several election officials rejected the claim as unconstitutional. Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. Vice President J.D. Vance clashed with Representative Seth Magaziner over a child's immigration case highlighted in the national debate. They argued over what the law requires and whether the administration's enforcement actions are harming families. President Trump told reporters the country should move on from questions about Jeffrey Epstein after the latest document release. He said investigators disclosed what they could, while critics argue key records remain missing or heavily redacted. President Trump escalated his feud with Harvard by demanding $1 billion to settle federal investigations and said he wants no further dealings with the university. Harvard has not agreed, and the standoff is now headed toward more litigation. Senate Majority Leader John Thune rejected President Trump's call to nationalize federal elections and said states run the process under the Constitution. He said Republicans should focus on winning races, not rewriting election rules. A federal government attorney told a Minnesota judge the system sucks, while explaining why ICE has struggled to comply with release orders in multiple cases. The judge pressed for faster compliance as detentions and court challenges mount. A federal judge signaled he may block the Pentagon from punishing Senator Mark Kelly over a video urging troops to refuse illegal orders. The Pentagon says retirees are still subject to military rules. Kelly calls it unconstitutional retaliation. Federal immigration officials are scouting and buying large warehouses to expand detention and processing capacity, according to ICE records and local officials. Communities in several states are pushing back, citing zoning, transparency, and local cost concerns. Here's what happened across the U.S. in the past hour, all in 60 seconds. The House voted for trying to end the partial shutdown, with more than 20 Democrats joining Republicans. The bill funds most agencies through September 30 and extends Homeland Security funding for 2 weeks. A federal judge in Oregon ordered DHS to limit tear gas and other less lethal munitions outside Portland's ICE building for 14 days. Officers can't use them on people who aren't an imminent threat. The Trump administration is expanding ICE detention capacity by buying or converting warehouses and other facilities, records show. Local officials in Democratic-led states are resisting projects over costs, oversight, and community impact. President Trump demanded $1 billion from Harvard to settle federal investigations tied to funding and oversight disputes. Harvard hasn't agreed, and the standoff is pushing both sides toward more litigation. President Trump said Tuesday that states are agents of the federal government in elections, renewing his call to nationalize voting rules. Election officials say states run elections, and any takeover would face court challenges. Vice President J.D. Vance argued with Representative Seth Magaziner over a child's immigration case used in the national debate. They disputed whether migrants awaiting decisions can legally stay and what enforcement requires. Republicans are elevating fraud claims about California programs as the White House signals wider investigations. State officials say allegations are overstated, while audits and reviews of spending and eligibility continue. Ukraine says Russia hit heating and energy infrastructure during a deep freeze, leaving over 1,000 Kyiv buildings without heat. The strikes came before planned talks, with Kyiv accusing Moscow of breaking a truce. The EU plans to offer the U.S. a critical minerals partnership to reduce reliance on China. Officials say it would coordinate sourcing and supply chains as Washington ramps up strategic mineral stocks.